kind of sum the class up real quick, we signed 16 guys the second semester here, the spring semester. We had 4 guys that came on board at mid-year. Okay, mid-year enrollees, guys that signed up, guys that put on scholarship mid-year. One of them was a big tight end named Sterling Carter. We didn't talk about Sterling, but we felt like we needed a tight end in this class, and to get one on board right away, one that had a couple years of age on him, was huge for us. But we also recruited a guy a year ago from Warner Robins, Georgia, named Jelani Phillips. And when we were recruiting Justin Kitchens from Warner Robins, Georgia, a couple years ago, I saw Jelani on the team. He was a quarterback and a middle linebacker, a sophomore and a junior, and he played a lot of positions. And then we recruited him his senior year, and we didn't have enough spots for all the guys that wanted to come. And we thought he was a heck of an athlete, returned punts, played safety, was an outstanding athlete, and we signed him mid-year as well. We also signed a guy by the name of Jesse Schmidt, who we thought was one of the top long snappers in the country, who came on board in the fall. We put him on scholarship just recently when the spring semester began. Also a really good junior college running back named Akeem Shaver. So those 4 guys signed up at mid-year, and we had a class of 12 that signed with us on the signing day. So we got the 4 that are here now and 12 new guys that will be joining the program at some point in time this summer, or when a 2-day camp gets here. So we feel like we've really increased our team speed. A couple years back, we sat down and counted the number of guys that we thought on our football team that could legitimately run fast. Guys that run 4.5s or faster. And we maybe had a handful. And we feel like we probably tripled that number of guys in the last couple of years. When I was a head coach at Eastern Kentucky a couple of years back, we played at the University of Kentucky, and they had a great team. They beat LSU that year, and they were ranked number 1 in the country. And we played in our opening game, and they beat us badly. They could have scored 100 points on us. I appreciate Coach Brooks calling the dogs off in that game. But I remember listening to him talk about his team and how he had progressed over the last couple of years. He talked about the number of guys he had on his team when he first got there that could run the 4.5s. He thought he had maybe 5 or 6. And he felt like that year he had maybe 20-something guys on his team that could run the 4.5s. And I feel like we're following a similar path. We might have had a handful of guys a couple of years ago that could run the 4.5s, and we feel like we probably tripled that number of guys on our team that we consider fast guys. And that's huge for our program. We compete against top schools. I think the last couple of years, if you look, what you read is sometimes is one thing, but what is really there is another. And I know who we compete against. I know we had Frankie Williams committed to us down in Tampa, Florida, and the very last couple of days of live recruiting that Nebraska came in with their head football coach and a scholarship and a plane ticket, trying to get him to take a trip to Nebraska on the last day of recruiting. I know what happened. I know who we lined up, who we compete against, and who we beat in the recruiting process. It's a heck of a signing class, just short on numbers, but we didn't have many spots. But we were very selective and did our homework and played our cards just right. So the guys that, a lot of the ones that do the rankings, don't have any film. So that's why I'm glad you're here. I don't care where we're ranked at, you look at the film and you like them from the raw save and cheer for them and watch us win. It's a heck of a signing class. Okay? We Doug Gentry. We're short numbers-wise at the running back position. And we knew going into this thing that we'd probably sign a handful of running backs. We'd sign 4 or 5 running backs if we could. But it was important to sign some that could play some other spots as well. Some guys that would be fast enough maybe to slide out the slot receiver, but we couldn't go get a bunch of little munchkins. We had to get some big, good, strong, fast running backs. And Doug Gentry was a guy from Mejia, Texas, that we really liked on his junior film. He committed to us in the recruiting process. Randy Gregory from right up the road here in Indianapolis, up here at Hamilton Southeastern, the same high school that Chris Carlino was from. We thought he was in the top 5 football players in the state of Indiana. No question about it. Just put the film on and watch him play. And we thought he was the top 5 players, film-wise and ability-wise. This guy here, Brandon Cotton, was a lot of fun to recruit. Excuse me, because we thought he was a heck of a player. He's a big guy. He's about 6'2", about 240 pounds. And he's really smart. He has a great family, very successful family. He came to our camp, and we really liked him in camp. He ran fast in camp. He went down to Illinois' camp, and they offered him a scholarship. Coach Dorr's brother was the running back coach down at Illinois at that time, and this was one of their top-ranked running backs a year ago. When it's all said and done, we could be in the upper quartile of the league, maybe in the secondary, and maybe on the offensive line with our kickers and punters. Lots of areas of our football team we're pretty good at, and a couple other areas. The running back spot, we would think with all the new guys we have coming on board, there's some unknowns, but there's some great upside. And then obviously some areas we have to improve in, but we're optimistic.